Riv standing by with Team Impulse's top laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by Impact and Sunny here on stage from Team Impulse. What an amazing game we just had against Counterlogic Gaming. You guys continue the slide for CLG, but start some wins for yourself. First time you guys have been able to beat a top 5 team. What's the mentality of the team right now in the second half of the split?
이번에 그 탑5 팀 중에 한 팀을 이기게 되셨는데 그 소감이 어떠시고 앞으로 어떻게 더 잘할 수 있는지 좀 얘기해 주세요.
일단 저희가 처음에 실수를 많이 해가지고 좀 위험하다 싶었는데 그래도 팀원들이 서로 다 그냥 우리가 파밍만 하면 이길 수 있다고 그렇게 하면서 딱히 탑5 팀이 아니고 저희가 역전을 했다는 자체에서 일단 전 기분이 좋았어요. 그리고 좀 더 잘해지려면 초반을 좀 더 강화시켜야 될 것 같아요.
So we made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, so we thought it was a bit risky, but we thought all of our team thought as long as we farm, we could win in the late game. I guess we didn't really think of it as like a win against the top 5 team, but we're just really glad that we made a comeback.
And Xiaowei Xiaona coming out with some interesting picks in the mid lane. What was your opinion about the build path that he used, going Runeglaive, but then Magi and a few other things?
그 샤오이시아 선수가 그 아이템 빌드할 때 메자이즈 빌드하고 뭐 룬글레이브 빌드했는데 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하셨는지.
일단 메자이를 갔을 때 애가 좀 약간 이상했어요. 솔직히 메자이를 가가지고 원래 메자이가 이길 때 좋은데 질 때는 안 좋단 말이에요. 근데 메자이를 뽑고서도 잘해줘가지고 다행이었던 것 같아요.
I thought it was a bit strange that he picked Mejai's, because usually Mejai's is good for when you're winning, but I guess it turned out really well.
Well, it did. You guys were able to carry a very strong game, and it's going to be another difficult game next week. Team Dignitas, another one of the top teams. How does Impulse feel about that?
그 다음 주에는 팀 디그니타스 팀이랑 이제 경기하시게 되는데 어떻게 준비하실 거고 좀 설명해 주세요.
일단 저희가 초반에가 좀 이번에 못한 것도 있는데 디그한테 꼭 보면 초중반에 저희가 이기다가 초반에 역전을 당해요. 좀 실수가 좀 많이 해가지고 그것만 좀 보완하면 저희가 이길 것 같아요.
So against Team Dignitas, we normally win early mid game, but then we lose the late game. So we want to work on the early game, mid game mistakes.
Awesome. Sounds great. Congratulations on the win, man, and best of luck in the rest of the season. Sunny, thank you for translating. And now we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to break down that game a little more.
Thank you, Riv. Impulse coming up with a big win after starting down against CLG. The first time this split that they're coming out of a week 2-0, normally going 1-1. So big for them to pick up that victory. But I do want to go into the analysis here with the fact that CLG chose a comp very similar to the comp that they had yesterday, only exchanging the Morgana for an Alistar. And yet again, they did not find success.
Yeah, once again, it was those late game mistakes that ended up costing them. Only swapping out one pick and exactly same picks across the board signals to me that they didn't adapt in Champion Select to what they were seeing. They had this comp in mind when they came into it, and then when Impulse is drafting a Nidalee, a Janna, and you see these things coming, you have to expect the last pick, Ezreal. And I talked about this yesterday because I hate AP Ezreal. I hate AP Ezreal. I know you hated him for a different reason before. I hate him because he's way too powerful right now. And if you don't draft for him in Champion Select, and let alone just draft for a Nidalee poke in Champion Select, you're not going to make it through that late game because you're just going to fall to the wayside and you can't siege them. You have no hard engage on this, save for Smithy and Morgana landing their abilities. That's it. And that's the only way you start a fight.
We saw this Nidalee from Rush extend the undefeated streak for him.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair for CLG, when you're playing against Team Impulse, you don't expect poke comp, right?
Yeah.
You expect them hard dive and rush you down, quick tempo comps. So I'll give them a little bit of leeway there, but you're right, you really do need to, especially with the state of Runeglaive Ezreal, have to take that into consideration no matter what team you're playing. That Nidalee that you're talking about from Team Impulse, that's something that sets up, a poke comp really well, just because Rush only plays Lee Sin or Nidalee right now, and so like, oh, it's just Rush being Rush, he's gonna play this Nidalee no matter what, that's one of his carry champions. However, even with him having the bad early game, they were able to rely on, Xiao and buying his Medjais and the late game of the AP Ezreal to come back and take this for some very specific reasons. There are some very specific reasons why CLG lost this mid game after such a great start. And I want to talk about some of them. It does start with, the early inhibitor that they traded when TIP were able to get the early Baron and use Baron-empowered recalls. I think that was actually the big turning point in the game for Team Impulse. They got that first Baron with the empowered recalls, able to get back. And then if you're not able to pressure the map when you have an inhibitor down actually can turn into more money for the enemy team. And that's why we saw during many points during this game, later into the game, Team Impulse ahead in gold, even though they're down kills, they're down towers, because of this constant flow of money that's kind of going unchecked with the downed inhibitor in the side lane that CLG weren't able to capitalize on. They weren't able to press the mid game with the Fed double lift.
And Cyrene, we kind of saw this stall out from CLG. At that point, they didn't seem like they knew what to do because their composition didn't really allow them to, make the decision to go in entirely and get on top of that Ezreal and poke. And at the same time, they weren't able to necessarily kite back because you had the Sivir ult and they were the chase down from Ez with the double Stalker's Blade coming out from Team Impulse. So, it kind of raises the question, like, did CLG pick themselves into too much of a binary composition that they ran out of options?
Well, they had options in how to execute it. The point you're talking about where they went for the Baron, they got really stubborn because they went up to that inhibitor, they got it the first time, and what they traded for it was all of their top turrets where their top inhibitor was exposed. So they got in a mindset where they're like, we have to get this inhibitor down. We already traded so much for this position, and they gave up the Baron for it. If that poke comp starts a Baron, they're in the pit. You can go meet them there. You can go to that objective if they've already started. You saw CLG try to start the Baron a couple times, and they got poked off of it, and then they had to back up. So CLG was kind of stubborn in the way that they were trying to approach the map, and they weren't going to new places after they had already gotten the inhibitor down, and they felt like that was just the way they had to keep going.
I think a lot of credit needs to be given to Team Impulse for changing it up.
Yes.
Because every week I see Team Impulse play, I'm like, all right, you know what to expect from them. It's going to be the same thing, Sivir comp. They're going to have, diving,
maybe
solo laners. Right. But it looked like the poke really threw CLG off. They were not able to play around it at all.
Well, the downswing rather for CLG continues, and the upswing for Tip starts here. So we'll see how they continue to do in future weeks. We'll see if Gravity can continue their climb though into first place as they face off against Team Solo Mid. We'll be right back.
I was picking at my scarf with my hands. You know how that shit goes. Playing some basketball.
Can you fully straighten
Got my hand on the rim and it really hurts and I got stitches. Yeah, okay, he's probably dead. Rash right buff. Ooh! Double lift! Double lift! Gets first blood! He's gonna chase him down! Show at half, out they go. His ult's up, can he get the kill? Afro! Oh, he does! Flash knocks in, doesn't land the stun, but a lot of damage still comes through. He got Rocket means he's unstoppable, and Double Lift gets out. Oh my god!
Done. Hey, Jinx.
Exhaust.
Jinx. Nice. Lulu after. Okay, I'm getting Gargus.
Yeah, beat it. Crits though, they've got to be careful. Shower goes in. The ult's coming across. Afro's dead. It's a 5v4 again. Impact goes down. But they trade for Double Lift.
Okay, end the game.
Nice! The big comeback win, and Impulse win the game.